Hi guys, welcome to the Diet Doc Life Mastery Podcast. I'm Joe Klemczewski with Dr. Kori Propst. Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics, Kori. So Kori's kind of surprised about this one. She's not prepared. She's going to just kind of have to react to this, but that's okay.
There you go.
I got you. So, you know, Kori, I bit on a concept a couple years ago that Nietzsche talked about, a life unifying project, and other psychologists before and after him talked about similar things. And I got a nice brush against this topic in real life, in the wild, this week as I was helping Adam Martin edit his book. So Adam Martin is a Diet Doc program owner in Pittsburgh. He's also a pharmacist who created the Fit Pharmacist brand. And he's writing this book for pharmacy students, helping them have a great pharmacy student career and then launch into their full pharmacy careers.
Yeah.
And as an editor, my job is to, correct things in the book, but leave the author's voice intact, right? Like that's a sacred piece. But he got to the end of the first section and he got incredibly direct and vulnerable to these students in saying, look, this should be a contract. You are committing to patients to take care of them. You should commit to yourself, better health and self-care. And through all of these chapters we've talked about on you and your health and your career, and you have to have that completely centered to be able to help other people. Right. He wanted to articulate these values. And I said, Adam, you should make this like a contract. You should make it, like, here's what I'm going to do. And what are you going to step up and do?
Like, here's what I'm committing to.
Yeah. And, and I helped him write that section a little bit, and it came back as probably the most powerful way to end, the book, which I loved as an editor. But he came back with 3 things that I thought were perfect examples of life values.
Okay.
So
awesome.
Let me read his.
Yeah.
Let me read his. Adam Martin from the Fit Pharmacist. I strive to be impeccable with my word. And what he means by that is not just integrity, but I know words can heal and words can destroy. I want to very intentionally make sure I'm using the power of my words for good. And then number 2, I strive to assess emotions and intentions. You can tell he's been influenced by you for the last 5 to 10 years.
Good stuff, Adam.
Yeah, but I strive to assess emotions and intentions. In other words, like, instead of just reacting and fighting and being angered, he's like, whenever something happens, I'm going to take a step back and I'm going to assess my own emotions and this person's intentions. Total page right out of your book. I thought you'd like that. And then this is kind of one of his taglines. I strive to dispense, pun intended, pharmacy, my full potential. So he wants to be a student of life. He wants to be great. He wants people to be able to rely on him because he's always going to be known for excellence. So exactly. Well done, Adam, because I think, you could pick out a dozen of these. You could pick out 100. You could list them forever. They may change from time to time in your life. But where he is currently, I think that's just a great statement of him saying, this is who I want to be. So, Dr. Probst.
They're foundational. Like, they're not tiny sort of, what would be an example? Let me say this first. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I resolved to take out the garbage before my wife tells me to. Like, that's not a life value.
A good example.
But here's my question to you. Why is it important for somebody to sit down and say, do I even have any life values? Have I thought of this? Because this is central to who we want to be. And if we don't have those moorings, if we don't have that kind of anchor to our life, I would think it's just harder to decide what you're going to do day to day, year to year, and create the trajectory that you want to live.
And maybe some people don't care about that.
And that's okay. That's why you're here.
Yes, that's important to us, to have a trajectory and to have a foundation and to wake up in the morning and feel that, we're going to step into our lives and show up in a certain way. I want that for myself. I don't want to live haphazardly. I don't want to keep making the same mistakes over and over again. And it is important to me how I'm perceived by other people. I'm in the service industry. So I want to have those principles outlined, and I want to, writing them down, you asked, that's the best way to begin practicing them on a daily basis and keeping them front and center.
Yeah, I write mine on my arms.
They're never going anywhere.
Well, I mean, true story. Like when my oldest daughter came to me and she said, I want in your handwriting tattooed on my arm, go confidently in the direction of your dreams, a quote right by her family picture in the living room. I got the rest of that quote, live the life you've imagined, for that reason. Like that is my core life value, is to live with no regrets, to always make sure every decision, every major change, is this what I want my life to be? And I personally think that's important, but to your point, other people can just kind of float through life, and that's what makes them happy.
Exactly. Yes. I do think that having a set of principles to live by gives us a sense of stability and groundedness, especially when things get difficult, and things will get difficult. So when everything is shaky around you, at least you have this one thing you can stand on and know that you're going to be stable.
Well, I want to see if you have one, but I'm gonna finish my list because they all kind of are three spokes, or if you could think of it as three legs of a stool. The top of that stool that holds them all together is simply the word experience. So my first one is live the life you've imagined. The second one is to never stop learning, always be a student. My third one is to, constantly deepen relationships, to prioritize people. And when you look at those three things, it really created the perfect center for what I have wanted to work on in the last several years, which is to, you've heard me say, for me, life is all about the experience. It's not about things, it's about the experience. So I can experience better relationships. I can experience better life when I'm learning as a student. I can experience better life if I'm actually filtering that through the intentionality of living the life I've imagined. So all of that comes down to, I want my life to focus every day on the experience that I can have and share.
I think we share a lot of the same and very similar life principles, Joe. Yeah. And one of mine is to live a life of contribution. It works for me very well because I think all of us can have a tendency to become very self-centered. And when I find myself kind of myopically going inward, like it's all about me and this is hard and why me, it's that I can land on that. And it's like, wait, no, I have all of these other people relying on me and they're very important to me. And it gets me out of that very small view to the bigger picture.
And on whom you rely. They rely on you, you rely on them. Yep.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for playing this game with me, Kori. This was the surprise Dr. Probst with a topic day. And you did very well. Thank you for that.
Take surprises.
All right. And Adam Martin.
Principle.
Yeah. And thanks to Adam for being so vulnerable in this book. It's going to be a great book. It's called Gen Z Pharmacist. So that will be out very soon.
Pick that one up, guys.
All right, Kori, thank you for that. And you guys, thanks for watching, listening to the Diet Doc Life Mastery Podcast. If you are viewing this or listening to it, please drop us a quick little 5-star review or comment so that other people, when they stumble by, can say, hey, this actually may be something that could be useful. That would help more people hear the content.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay, thank you guys, and we'll catch you next time.